went on. We knew that the brother was like our big brother. If you fucked with us, you had to deal with him. And we're going to miss him, if not for what it is he just simply brought to the reality of a situation. Whatever misjudgments you may have, whatever misjudgments he may have had, we all made mistakes, because in a struggle of this kind, there are no blueprints. It is an ongoing struggle, and it keeps morphing and changing in accordance with the way the war is going at the time. So we give all due respects for the presence that came here in the form of Khalid Muhammad, our big brother. And we want to take a moment of silence to recognize his work, his presence, and what his absence is going to mean. Fallen soldier, fallen comrade, to a battle well fought, may the ancestors open their arms, may they be in joyous celebration, may they welcome one of their own. Ashe. Ashe. As you know, the battle is no joke. We see the war unfolding before us day in and day out. And we take what it is that brothers and sisters like the brother and Brother Bobby and myself and many others, we take that for granted because we just turn on our tapes and pretty much, we could, in the safety of our own quarters, view some of the things that some of us stand on the front line to do. Now, I don't expect any accolades, and I don't care for them. As long as anybody's known me, I don't give a shit about it. I'm about the work, and I'm about making sure that our people get the proper information based on the reality of the situation. This war is picking up in its intensity, in that very shortly you're going to start seeing a lot of what we call our leaders fall. And this is why, if you all have ever followed me in the gathering of the masters, you've always heard that I don't want no followers. And anybody who comes in our presence are leaders. The flag falls, or if the banner of the truth, the reality falls, anyone, and I mean anyone, is qualified to pick it up and move forward. We cannot put our hopes, dreams, our trust, and everything that we are about into one man or woman anymore. If that happens, you see, it brings the whole collective down. That's because we have invested that part of ourselves into one image. The only image you need to invest your intensity to is the one that you see in the mirror every morning. And if that shines every day, then everything that this brother has stood for would mean something, because then the collective would be working on intelligence rather than a cult of personality, which is what destroys us. They want us to follow a cult of personality. Which is why I am making an appeal to you all that at this time, and I would rather have done this off camera, that I'm thankful for everything that you all have done in showing me, you know, your kindness and your love and all the things that you've done just by showing up here, by supporting grassroots, by studying my tapes. I get calls from all over the country about the people actually having forums every week in college campuses and so forth, taking Bobby's and Dr. Delbert Blair's tapes and college tapes and sitting down and studying it. That's a university that cannot be accredited except on the plains of the ancestors. And this university shit, this school shit that you see us going to every day, don't mean a goddamn thing. It's there to divert you, distract you, and keep you from actually ascending to where you need to be, to where you know you should be. With that, I'd like to ask that when we do get to the point of the break, to appeal to you in your intelligence and your kindness to maintain the battle by your support. And we won't talk about what that support is because it gets kind of crass. Just ask you to give a little donation on that tip. Doesn't matter what it is, because these brothers are working as hard as they can to get the information out. But when you dedicated yourself to simply this, you don't get paid. This is not something you choose to get rich on. So I see a lot of brothers and sisters, I hear brothers and sisters around the country, present company excluded, who take the tapes that these brothers make and other people make, have my books, and are actually taking my books, especially in Chicago, and printing them and selling them and thinking they're doing me a favor. That's, you know, that's pimping. I've never asked for much, but I know these videos go out across the country. Matter of fact, I got it that they go around the world. So if you know anyone out there who sees and understands and appreciates and is mature enough to know that this shit is not easy, you know, send something to the brothers or sisters that you know is out there on the front line. You know, the $10, the $15, the $20, that may mean nothing to you, because you could buy that in a pack of cigarettes. You can buy a 40 or whatever it is throughout the week. You could drop $100 on bullshit. But if you all are really dedicated to this struggle, we all are, it's good that you send it out to those that you know will be worthy of it. And that's all I had to say on that. I ain't going to say it again. I just feel that it's time that, you know, they stop pimping the people that they say they like and they know they're trying to help them. And I know this tape is going to end up in Chicago. It's going to end up all around the country. Y'all deal with your conscience, because you ain't doing shit for the movement. That's all I have to say on that. I don't have much of these as far as the health alerts, so I'm going to put it up so that people can zoom in on it. We do have a service for consultations on vaccinations and vaccination deferments. And if you want any information on that, my number is area code 718-264-9497. Okay? Now if you read this, you'll see that I put a little synopsis having to do with what vaccinations are. And this will be the paradigm that causes us to start destroying the children from the crib all the way up through college. It turns us into these incubators for diseases. So preferably you'd, you know, if you want to have any more higher awareness on that, you'd call us up. Now, how many of you were here for Tetragrammaton 1? Okay, a lot of you all missed Tetragrammaton 1. And first thing I want to do is to make it very clear that when I come up before you with your gracious permission, I hope it is that you don't think that I'm an entertainer. Because this is not about entertainment. This is entertainment. So I got a lot of requests from people to go over this thing about the Wizard of Oz one more time. Brothers and sisters, I got a lot of those little cute ditties that I could do, but that's distracting. And if that's what it is that you all like, then I'm beginning to wonder what I'm doing up here. Because I can find in all of the stories, we can go to all the movies out here, and like I did with The Matrix, with Stargate, and I can break the codes on that for you, but y'all are above that right now. What we are about to do here, when I stepped it up to the Tetragrammaton, I knew that brothers and sisters were ready to understand what that meant, because a lot of people was talking about shit like that, Bobby, me, but nobody knew what the hell it meant. When we start getting into the bowels of the Tetragrammaton, we are getting into how thought becomes reality. How your mind is connected to the cosmic computer you call God's mind. And the mind that you have operates through the geometrics of light into the four-lettered word that you call the Tetragrammaton. So what we are doing now is to understand how those thought processes work to create the reality that you live in. Actually, the illusion you live in. And how the geometrics of your thought patterns create your misery or your ascension and your salvation. So I'm very optimistic about the level of consciousness to the brothers and sisters who buy my tapes. But, you know, I'll search out all the gimmicks, you know, if you want me to, but that's distract. That takes me away from going into breaking other codes. Okay? Check? All right, so, you know, I do it every now and then, you know, to get the spice, but it's not something I'm going to look to do all the time. Don't get the habit of me breaking it down in that way for you so you can go and talk to somebody who's on that other level who know about the Wizard of Oz and you got a little something on them. Anyway. We got a distressing problem based upon the level of the mind of the people that we are functioning with as our leaders. And I'm very concerned with the fact that we have to now undo a lot of the shit that the Christians have done is now creeping into the grassroots, progressive, metaphysical community. The Christians are adopting the metaphysics, and they are incorporating it into their dialogue. You will be seeing Reverend Price, you will be seeing T.D. Snakes and all the rest of them pulling in the metaphysics to offset the damage that is being done to their ministries through the young people questioning them as to the validity of what it is that they are made to believe. Our brothers and sisters, our younger brothers and sisters are now saying, give me the proof of this Jesus that you want me to worship. Show me. And all the elders can say is, read your Bible. But that shit don't hold water no more. You expect your children in this day and age to be a lot more incisive and competitive when it comes to the knowledge that's being given to them. You expect them to go into second and third levels of thought processing before they accept. You teach them discernment when they go to buy things, yet still you tell them to believe when it comes to something as critical as them focusing their precious attention and their activities into one specific belief structure. I don't understand the mentality behind black folks in Christianity and the type of bullshit that they expect us to believe in, yet still have a mind enough to deal with aeronautics. They're all proud to be doctors and lawyers and all this shit. Yet when it comes to investigating the shit they believe in, they want to argue you down with no proof. But Christianity is hard at work when Steve, Bobby, myself, Ray, all of them got on KJLH in California. Shit went into havoc. Stevie was called in. Stevie was pissed off because Stevie Wonder owns the station. And they have the front page there that kicks ass. That does not ask for any qualifications to exist. The Christians are pissed off with the type of programming that's going on in that station. So they made a move. When they made the move, what happened? Shit backfired on them. So KJLH is up and running, but now they're coming from another direction. They're beginning to get into the grassroots community and they're putting out books that verify Jesus' existence. There's a whole new set of bullshit diatribe coming about around the pyramids, and that the fact that the pyramids now predicted the coming of Christ. Hey, this is serious because they are going to push this shit as real with the help of the so-called New Age. You've got brilliant mathematicians that are hard at work validating the existence and pushing our information onto, or grafting their information onto our information, and mathematically using the numbers and the letters, the signs, the geometry and everything to validate the reality of a Jesus Christ existing. And you will get fooled because the shit looks technical, it looks slick, but they will bypass simple logic to make sure that you buy this whole new bullshit that's coming out. And we in trouble as a people. We are seriously in trouble as a people because why? We didn't deal with the metaphysics. We didn't deal with the metaphysics. There are three things that could have happened to Brother Khaled. Three things that could have happened to Brother Khaled. Fourth one says that he's still alive. I don't know what that's about. I don't have enough data on that situation. If he is, power to him. He'll do better on the underground. The other three things are, one, he was poisoned. Brother was throwing up Monday night. And when he was throwing up, whatever he threw up had to be evidence. Check? Check. But word is that Steve, because he's one of the baddest investigators we got, said that somebody from in the nation snatched up the bed sheets with all the throw up on it and threw the shit out. Now you're going to hear Steve talk more about that. Well, why would you throw out what would essentially be the evidence if this brother was throwing up all over the place before he went into his arrest? Now, the politics around the nation, I really don't care about. I don't give a shit. That's them fighting their shit out for whatever it is that they got to gain on that. My tip is spiritual. That's where the war is. The war going to be dealing with principalities, not with these nickel and dime motherfuckers that think they really ruling shit. So all this is going to be swept away quick, fast, and in a hurry. Word is that Minister Farrakhan is slipping slowly or into rapidly, and that a new leader is meant to be chosen. Now, from what I understand, the nation did not want Khalid. But just like the vote you saw with your boy Gore and Bush. Bush won the popular vote, and what's the name? No, Bush didn't win the popular. Bush won the political vote. Gore won the popular vote. The rumor is that no matter who it is that the nation chose, the popular vote would have been for Khalid. Everybody knows that. Now, with somebody with the strength, with the perception of leadership, whatever it is that's going on around Khalid, Khalid also had his issues. That's his business. Everybody got them. But whatever's happening in that particular arena, Steve said everybody needs to check that. Second thing is that the time when Khalid was shot, he had to go in that damn hospital. Anybody who listens to the lectures we did on mind control, especially trauma-based mind control, knows that when they get your ass in a hospital, fuck it. I'm not sure if y'all were around on December 15th through December 21st, 1993, when we broke this particular story to the Sun. And they know they had to shut these motherfuckers down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because the Sun was seriously written, articulated, intelligent, and investigated. It wasn't like this bullshit Amsterdam News here. The Sun was dropping some serious shit. So when Brian Wrong, when Brian Wrong first came to me and told me he had a chip in his head, said to chill up my spine, knew it was going on, but never met one who flew over the cuckoo's nest. He showed it to us. He showed us all the documented proof that they are putting chips into people. Part of that information that Brian brought out was there are ways for them to implant you with specific types of technology that over a period of time they can activate by radio signal or whatever and create embolisms, aneurysms, and all forms of blood clots so that you die of what they tell you is natural causes. They can shut your heart down. Okay? And 3, and this is why I need to say this, because Brother Khalid and myself disagreed along these lines. I have to bring this in because from my perspective, I have to bring this equation into play because it wouldn't be well-rounded unless I had, from the metaphysical community, we began to speak on the metaphysical community's participation in this and how we see it. Right now, the CIA has a technology called remote viewing. Remote viewing was developed by L. Ron Hubbard from Scientology. The top people from Scientology went into the CIA and established this psychic warfare department where the lessons of L. Ron Hubbard were then honed into another form of warfare. They got so good at this shit that they were able to create excuse me, hyperdimensional artillery, hyperdimensional ordnances, hyperdimensional bullets, hyperdimensional spears that can be used with a collective to kill you at a distance. To find you and kill you at a distance. All they needed was your blood type, a picture of you, anything that had to serve as a witness to you. And I can attest to that fact because there is such a thing as absent healing, because our ancestors did it. Our ancestors drove them bastards from out of Haiti. This war between us and Europe didn't end when he landed here. It was going on for 3,000 to 4,000 years of us driving him back constantly. He is only ruling in the past, what, 500 years? This ain't shit. This war has been going on and will go on. But he has now become more sophisticated. Because why? We have adopted fucking Christianity. We believe some motherfucker's gonna come down on a cloud and take your tired asses up. And with that belief, you have abdicated from all of your cultural arsenals, your cultural beliefs, your cultural structures, your cultural sciences. And thus you become vulnerable because what has happened, he has adopted your shit. And he now uses what he used to laugh at in front of your face. And he got you dumb, stupid, jigaboo, buck dancing niggas singing to Jesus Christ when your ass is supposed to be doing the shit they doing, collectively getting in, speaking your damn language, calling upon your damn ancestors, and then kicking this motherfucker's ass. Never giving him peace. Because he knows the war is on the spiritual plane. The war is on the etheric plane. This physical shit he knows. He got all this shit locked down. So if your motherfuckers going out there to march and hold up a fucking sign, he knows just what level you're thinking on. You dumb motherfuckers. So until the people with that Bible shit begin to interpret the Bible the way it's supposed to have been interpreted, the way our ancestors wrote it to be understood, we're going to be here in this belief structure he created for us, yelling and screaming. By the way, it took your music, the funk, and the R&B and the shit we used to just groove to that gave us the what? And put that shit in the motherfucking church. It said, you want to hear a good concert? Go to the damn church. You want a loan? Go to the damn church. And what has happened? We become stupid. And what has happened? We got motherfuckers like this. Africans are some dumb motherfuckers. Just like the dumb motherfuckers over here. That's why Bobby said, fuck them all. Because what the fuck is that about? You're damn right. They're selling the culture. There's at least 8 or 9 of them motherfuckers over there sitting with a cheap stool. You want to know how stupid we become? Jimmy Moxon, more like Jimmy Moron, alias Nana Kofi Obonya. Nana Kofi Obonya. What? But it's deeper. Check it out. Jimmy Moxon is one of the few white chiefs in Africa recognized by the government. Damn, I can't even say that shit. On September 13th, 1963, that's how far back this shit happened, Ghana's official newspaper announced the investiture of Nana Kofi Obonya, literally chief born on Friday, who lives at the bottom of the cliff. Jimmy Moxon was 20 20 years old, just out of Cambridge, all right, when World War II broke out. He became an administrative colonel on the Gold Coast in 1957 when Ghana became the first African country to achieve independence. Now that's some bullshit. He was reluctant to leave. The king of Oburi offered to make him a noble. The white man, and this is in parentheses, carries out his functions seriously and respectfully. He settles disputes. So what the fuck else is new? The white man is still settling your disputes. Damn right. Sits on a royal council and coaches a soccer team. People must bow to him. He is the only white person in Africa who is born on a processional litter. They got this motherfucker on their shoulders. It has become a trend among some African kings in Ghana and Nigeria to have a white chief who is not involved in quarrels amongst Africans. The investiture ceremony costs between $2,500 and $7,500. We have found about 20 white chiefs, most of whom reside in Nigeria, including a French cultural attaché and a number of businessmen who take advantage of opportunities offered by traditional chieftaincy to boost their profits. I don't have no fucking sympathy for those dumb motherfuckers. Excuse my, what, French. And you wonder what's going on? You wonder why we can't make no moves forward? Y'all think this is funny? Well, laugh at this. What's wrong with that picture? Right? But you're not telling me what it is that's wrong with this picture. Say that again. It's on a damn ark. You motherfucking right. And I gotta cuss until I get to the lesson plan. This is my catharsis here. This is bullshit. But who got that shit up there? Can you identify the culprit? Who made that shit? Say it out. Yes. Me and Bobby had a talk about 3.5, 4 hours. We talked till 4 o'clock in the morning. And here's the deal. The Christians know that the time is here for the true revelation to come. And it ain't coming from them. It's coming from you. It's coming from people of color. People of the first seeded people on this planet. Symbolism, lines, immediately recognizable data in the form of pictures are what indelibly etch themselves upon your consciousness. Our archetypal symbols are what give us the key to decoding the light code transmissions. Fuck with the symbols, and you fuck with the purity of the information coming. Now, I don't know who's with Dr. York. I don't give a flying fuck. If you're in here, we can meet outside at 3 o'clock or whatever. But it comes down to this. The brother is working to get the information out. And I'm always in support of somebody who's working to get the information out, the purity of the information out. But when I see and I hear that the brother is a Supreme Grand Hierophant, 720 degrees of the ancient Egyptian order of the world. He is the founder of the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek. He is a noble of the Mecca Temple #1, the ancient Egyptian Arabic order nobles of the mystic shrine, grand jurisdiction of North and South America. He is the Ansarullah Shriner Temple #19 in Georgia. He has been a member of the Rosicrucian order as well as Astara for more than 25 years. As a 33rd degree Inspector General of Freemasonry, he serves as the Deputy Grand Master affiliated with the most worshipful pride of Georgia Grand Lodge AF and AM. Check. Now in this very paper it says somebody, some cracker, was moving against him to try to prove fraud or some other shit. And they're now saying, well, he was exonerated. So then, get the fuck out of here. A 33rd degree Mason, you think they're going to prosecute him? The next step to a 33 degree Mason in the higher order is to be assassinated. You don't exonerate a motherfucker unless you putting him into the game. Check. The brother looked good. He got some sweet shit. The gear is off the chain. If the brother knows, the brother wants one thing, he knows how to take something and run with it. But here's what fucked with my head. How do you get an invite from the Department of the Interior of the United States of America to conduct a ritual around the Washington Monument? I'm lying, I'm flying. Zoom in. Y'all think this shit is funny? And I'm not talking to brothers and sisters presently here, those people out there listening to this shit. This is not funny. And this is not to castigate, quote unquote, your leader. This is to do a little bit of outside investigation and bring a whole nother slant to something that when you are inside of it, you don't see. The other part of it that's really slick is that the brother went to the Empress, sent some people up into the Empress, got all her shit. Now the Empress is in a home. The Empress is in a home now. You can scan that whole shit, you can see, man, this brother got his shit together. The brother looked good. And we always like a brother looking good. Last time we saw that shit was Sweet Daddy Grace. Reverend Ike. We like our leaders, our pimps. We like them to look good. Because it makes us feel good. But what is the substance? The substance comes down to the fact that when you take a Christian symbol and put a symbol into the minds of the young people and people who are going to be susceptible to this shit, what you have done is you have destroyed or sidetracked the work of our elders, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Van Sertima, all of the scholastic work that went into digging out the truth around our people and what it is that they've been hiding. Now you make a whole other shit. You make a concession with the beast to take a symbol that represented life. And you have something like the ancient Egyptian Church of Christ, to inaugurate the Washington Monument. What? This is some wild shit. Where the fuck are y'all going? What are you all doing?
When you take this symbol, which was pimped from that symbol, which didn't happen until 625 AD at the Council of Trent, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, the original symbol was the symbol of a lamb until it was changed into this crucified Savior shit. And now you've taken this that has preceded armies of Europeans into the world of our ancestors. When the missionaries came in and prayed to God about how wonderful it was to slaughter the people of the indigenous lands. Why? Because it was God's word that they were bringing to these heathens. The murder and the blood, the slaughter that succeeded this motherfucker here. And that's right, I call him a motherfucker. Because that's all he's been doing to our mothers for the last 2,000 years. You Christians, y'all some sorry motherfuckers, boy. I say, shit. And then now to have somebody come up and then to capitulate and give credence to this shit. What is this? A sign of things to come? Are we going to be lining the cities the way they line Rome with crucifixes? This time they got our asses on ox? That's some sick shit. But you want to know where the war really is? Let's find out where the war really is. See, people laugh when brothers and sisters who are in this work start talking about the fact that the war ain't here on this plane. But they know where the war is. All of them know where the war is. If you're in the Illuminati, that's where you are conducting the war from. What that say? Y'all can't read no more? Film, not fiction. Now wait a minute, why? What about it that's not fiction? First of all, they say, for the Reverend James LaBarre, it's all the devil's work. As the chief exorcist for the Archdiocese of New York. Now you look at this motherfucker, look at him, pompous fuck, cracker motherfucker. How many boys did he try to fuck throughout his life? He has been elected to a post that has to do with casting out demons. But you laugh at your own culture. You start talking shit about, well, that's all Satanism and what do you call it and so forth. Even to the point where you say, okay, we're not from the Catholic Church because they've just been taken over by Satan. I don't give a damn what denomination you are. This is your mother church. Because the Pope runs you. But what did he say? LaBarre said he had battled more than 300 demons in the past damn decade. You think about that. 300 demons in the past decade. The most recent exorcism was last week. The fuck was this? September 22nd last year. The motherfuckers are all over, obviously. LaBarre, white-haired and bespectacled at age 64, has found himself an odd sort of celebrity of late as news organizations seek out his views on the 1973 film The Exorcist, which was directed by a former member of the mind control section of the CIA. William Friedkin worked for the mind control section of the CIA. And in that movie, they experimented on the people that were in the audience with a new strobe technology that they were using to brainwash people. And in the strobe, they were putting bits of information about you dying, you getting a heart attack, your mother dying, you're going to be killed when you stepped out the movie theater. Yes, brother?
That's the same thing back when they had on TV, I think it was in the 70s, when all the Jehovah's Witnesses were saying they were vomiting when they came out the movie.
They came out the movie, they started vomiting, people were getting sick, they were dying of heart attacks.
It's in the paper.
Yeah. William Friedkin conducted that particular experiment on the mass population with Hollywood's help.
I just wanted to add to that William Friedkin was also, at the same time that he was in there, Jim Jones was also part of the...
Going to get to that, yes sir. Because he was in connection with Jim Jones.
Right.
And he was learning some of the shit from Jim Jones and applying it to a technological basis. You see. Now, what happened when you saw the movie about the Big Musty? LaBar, who has seen the 97 Trivia, is roughly one of 18 exorcists in the United States. 18 exorcists in the United States. The latest was just appointed by the Archbishop of Chicago. Yet still you don't want to go see your Babala. You don't believe in the Orishas. You now worship saints. What does it say down here? He said he once witnessed a victim seated in a chair move across the room without touching the damn ground. He said he witnessed that. He's white. So yeah, he must have happened, right? You believe him? He said another victim he helped was besieged by 39, now check this out, besieged by 39 damn devils. In 3 teams of 13 each. They were lined up in a row. But you believe this. But here's your valid proof. This is where the war is. Every now and then little bits and bites might hit. And you might see a couple of things happen on the TV. Or you might hear a few things happening, but they don't put it out there at the level that it's happening. They don't kick it at the level that you are supposed to become aware of so that you could be ready for this shit. But until we begin to break the code around around how it is that they're conducting this war against your mind and for your mind. You are always going to be looking for answers outside of yourself or in some phenomenon that they are quite willing and ready to stage for your benefit. And that's what they're getting ready to do to these dumb Christians. And all of what it is I said at the beginning of this, I had to get it out because all week this was messing with my brain. How I look at some of these dancing Negroes in these long gowns singing and entertaining the audience and getting a good feeling. And they go right back to the same situation, the same structure that causes the problem to begin with. One more thing. Anybody here eat gummy bears? Can y'all eat gummy bears? And y'all know who eat gummy bears? Y'all know people eat gummy bears? Well, tell them to stop eating that shit. That shit got mad cow. Tell them to stop eating that mamba shit too. That got mad cow. Some candy bar called Mamba. Mad cow. Okay, like I said, I'm not here to entertain, though I do like to have a good time when we do our thing. And I'm hoping that we are now mature and of the mind to be able to take what it is that we do together and have the concentration, the patience, and the insight as well as the determination to crack this code, to become mature with the information. We can get entertained, we can have laughs along the way, but this is not the purpose for me to come together with you at all. Okay?
Let me just put down a few points of interest before we move forward. The beast is planning what is known as a geoengineering project. A geoengineering project. They plan to launch something in the avenue of 500,000 mirrors into outer space, along with other small particulates that they will have floating around the planet. 500,000 mirrors. This is the scientific plan of a man named Edward Teller. Another part of the plan is to launch and build a space station, a 1,200-mile satellite between Earth and the sun. They wish to accomplish two things. One, to provide a spectrum for the iron plankton in the ocean, because the ocean fish are washing up now and dying. What's happening to the planet is being quietly brushed under the rug, even by the environmentalists, because environmentalists are being threatened at this time, and if they go public, they're going to take them out. The planet is going through an enormous change. Lord knows I feel like you've heard this shit before, yes or no?
Yes.
2, the next plan is to dim the power of the sun to deflect its rays, because they want to offset the global warming trend. So 500,000 mirrors will be floating around in outer space, and you will see them as clouds over the sun. This devil also knows that the proximity of the planet is moving towards the sun now, and his ass is getting ready to burn up. Melanoma has skyrocketed in all of the tropics where white people are. They are now creating artificial domes and artificial atmospheres. We told you that they found human genetic and animal genetic material in the jet stream, in the what do you call those things? Chemtrails. The chemtrails is for terraforming the atmosphere and the environment for their living. Now, everybody laugh when we start talking about extraterrestrial shit. Get ready. They coming. Item. Interesting statistics to come out that, here's something for you Christians. During the El Salvadoran earthquake, you heard about that? Did you know that 80% of all the churches were destroyed? Clue? 80% of all the damn churches were destroyed. Now when your ass is in trouble and you think running the church is going to help your ass, earthquake coming, let's go praise Jesus. Yeah, go ahead. Item. New York had the first of what was going to be and what will be a series of earthquakes. We had it a few months ago. It was 3 to 4 on the Richter scale. Yeah, about a month ago. Giuliani, or Adolf, came out and did his best to try to calm everybody. Oh, you know, our buildings are on a solid rock and we good and don't worry about shit. The evil will go on. It was laughable because he was choking on his own words. He didn't even believe the shit he was saying. Now, we know that according to the Kemetic and Mayan calendars, the North American continent will be broken up and will begin to shift upward towards the north. The time frame for the most memorable global catastrophes in our race and history was calculated by our ancestors at 9792 BC. That's what we call the great flood, or the great catastrophe that happened. The flood is actually a magnetic shift. The flood, it looks like a flood. You ever looked at a hot horizon and it looks like water is on that horizon? That's what they're talking about. The last one was calculated between 97, 92 BC and 10,000 BC. Our Neteru Neb, or what we call the ancestors, built tens of thousands of things called manjits to escape. And what they did was they ended up in Kim and what is now in South America at the time when the great cataclysm took place, 97, 92, 10,000 BC. They built airships. Okay? I'm going to get a lecture I did in Atlanta called Extraterrestrial Civilizations and the Archaeological Evidence. And hopefully they'll have it up to me very soon. Now, in the year 2012, Venus, Orion, and several other stars will align in the same light code configuration as they did in 97, 92 BC, the year of the previous cataclysm. So the star configurations of the times when we went through that particular earth trauma is about to come into alignment again. And 2012 is noted as the end of time. Now, end of time as we know it not only means time as we see our consistent forward march in this craziness we're in, but time frame references, where time now takes on a whole other calibration to the senses. There is going to be a magnetic shift to the planet which is going to cause a trauma. The planet is going to stand still for 24 hours before it begins its rotation again. That is mentioned in the Bible when the sun stood still in the sky. Same thing is going to happen. There's going to be darkness for 24 hours, or 3 days, I'm sorry. Darkness for 3 days, light for 3 days wherever the sun stops. Yes, sir?
I think that's mentioned in a movie called Tomb Raider.
Called what? Tomb Raider? Right. Well, you see where they put all our shit, right? They put it in the movies. But this massive and spontaneous magnetic shift is going to cause the population of the planet to go into a deep sleep. Either they're going to drop dead, blow up from spontaneous combustion, or they're going to go into a deep sleep. Some of you all are going to die in your sleep. You're all going to die by drowning, wouldn't even know you drowned. You're just going to fall right out. That's what they call in these crazy born-again people, the tribulation, or the, what do you call that thing again? The tribulation. The rapture. Now get your pencils out, because I'm going to give you the books that you need to research the materials we're about to go into. This is family gathering. This is not the Apollo Theater. People come here so that we get into the metaphysics, to the mathematics. We go home and we study what it is that we share here today. This takes work to come and decode this information. You must take it now and apply it. First book, The Way of the Shaman. Now, any books by shaman on shamanism, be suspect, because white people wrote it. Whatever you get from them, no matter how pious, no matter how respectful, read with your melanin lens. Because there's shit that you will interpret that they will never get on the surface. Hebrew Myths, the Book of Genesis, by Robert Graves. Oh, the first one, Way of the Shaman, is by Michael Harner, H-A-R-N-E-R. Next book, Hebrew Myths, Book of Genesis, Robert Graves. Next book, The Kabbalah Unveiled, by S.L. Mathers, M-A-T-H-E-R-S. A good book to have in your library, Confessions of Aleister Crowley, by Crowley. A book that's interesting, kind of thick and laborious to get through, but I do suggest it. If you do a lot of marking up in it, it tends to help you go through it. Being and Nothingness, by Jean-Paul Sartre. Being and Nothingness, by Jean-Paul Sartre, S-A-R-T-E. These are books from my library, by the way. The Bahir Illumination, B-A-H-I-R, Illumination, by Arya, A-R-Y-E-H, Kaplan, K-A-P-L-A-N. A Practical Guide to Kabbalistic Symbolism, Volume 1 and 2, by Gareth, G-A-R-E-T-H, and Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T. Another book is called Cults of the Shadow. Cults of the Shadow, by Kenneth Grant. And a good book I think you should get if you just want to start off, rather than starting off where we started off with the Book of the Master, by W. Marsham Adams. Everybody got that? Or do you need me to go over it? We good? One more time. Way of the Shaman, by Michael Harner. Hebrew Myths, Book of Genesis, by Robert Graves. The Kabbalah Unveiled. This book is a little deep, but I would suggest you get that and labor through it with other books that decipher it. When you read Kabbalah, you should read it with about 3 or 4 different authors, because there are at least 3 or 4 different interpretations. The only thing that you would actually have as a specific interpretation would be the Sephiroth, the 10 Sephiroth. But when you start to get into trying to get one author's slant on describing God and the mind of God and being in nothingness, different authors have different slants on it, and you'll come up finding that you yourself will get one along those lines. In fact, before we go forward, I want to say this. Whoever it is that's in the Kemetic community who deal with the Ark and so forth, I know that some of them listening to my tapes start getting a little itchy about me going into what they deal with as Jewish mysticism. That's bullshit. Jews ain't never did shit around mysticism. Everything they've gotten, they've learned from in Chem, Babylon, Sumer, and every place else they've gone into pimp and take and steal, rob and co-opt. They didn't even have a fucking land for their own. You see what the fuck they're doing over there in the Middle East? They need a soldier. They need shit in there to start killing people. They need to, imagine they were going to use Uganda as Israel. Can you imagine that shit? And the niggas would have probably let them too. Uganda. Come in Uganda and be Israel. Israel's a state of mind. It ain't got nothing to do with a state on the planet. Alright, so be mindful about how you read Kabbalah. Read Kabbalah with about 5 or 6 different sources, and then read into your Kemetic information. The Kemetic information was taken and translated from the Medu Netra to what I call the Ku Medu, or the fire language, that they hid the information in, what you call the Hebrew letters. The Hebrew letters are the fire letters that was a condensation or a mutation or an adaptation from the ancient Medu Netra, which was your ancient language. So you can still have the one child removed and still understand how the language and mathematics and numerology and all of that came from your ancestors and ended up in their secret. That's why they got this motherfucker, what's his name, locked up down there in Florida, Yahweh ben Yahweh. They don't want nobody learning that shit. Once you learn that shit, you start seeing what the fuck they do. You start seeing that they're evil. You see what they did with your information. And it's a deep science when you get into it. It's yours. The Kabbalah Unveiled by S.L. Mathers. Confessions of Aleister Crowley. Also you can get Liber Al by Aleister Crowley, which is actually Liber Alph, A-L-E-P-H, which will tell you exactly what he was studying, Tetragrammaton. And you can get some materials by Aleister Crowley on the star sponge. That'll also lead you to some of the information you need to have. Being in Nothingness by Jean-Paul Sartre. The Bahir Illumination by Arya, A-R-Y-E-H Kaplan. A Practical Guide to Kabbalistic Symbolism, Volumes 1 and 2 by Garth and Knight. Cults of the Shadow by Kenneth Grant. And The Book of the Master by W. Marshawn Adams. First thing you got to understand when we are making our moves towards this particular science is that we're about to go back to 5th and 6th grade geometry. Your attention span is now needed. All of y'all who fell asleep in geometry class or in mathematical class, this is going to be your lament. Because I did. The geometry, the mathematics, the language of God is geometry. The language of God is mathematics. When you understand that, you begin to see how your thought patterns are actually geometric progressions sifted from the light stream. And then you begin to see how your thoughts have adverse effects on your body based upon how you manipulate the geometry of the light stream. So when you think after this class, you go into thinking according to geometric patterns. And then you begin to see why it is that you're suffering the way you're suffering. Thought processes have weight. Brothers and sisters, thought accumulates weight, actual weight. You can see people walking with heavy thoughts. You have an etheric weight that the part of your body that gives you your upright energy, that breath, begins to become labored by the weight that your thought processes accrue